Welcome to another episode of Slones Wilderness Expeditions. We've come to enjoy sharing not just our hiking adventures, but also a lot of what happens in between. So sit back and join us for a little behind-the-scenes travel documentary that'll feature snippets from our hikes, scenic drives, dispersed camping locations, and more. Hey fellow expeditionists, we're on another road trip.
We're heading to the Great Smoky Mountains and anything we find along the way.
It's time for another road trip. We left Indiana that evening, enjoyed a Kentucky sunset on the road, and arrived at our destination in the middle of the night, the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. After catching a couple of hours of shut-eye parked at a trailhead, we got our packs on and started the trek up the Smoky Mountains' most iconic hike, the Alum Cave Trail to the top of Mount LeConte. Now this will be an abbreviated version of the hike, but you can still see the full video on our YouTube channel.
Hey fellow expeditionists, we're in the Smoky Mountains.
That's right, today we are hiking one of its most popular trails, the Alum Cave Trail, all the way to the top of Mount LeConte. There are 5 different ways up to the top of Mount LeConte, including the Bullhead Trail, Rainbow Falls Trail, Trillium Gap Trail, and the Boulevard Trail. But none are quite as popular as the Alum Cave route. It is the shortest route at about 5.5 miles one way, but it's also the steepest, with more than a 2,700-foot elevation gain. The hike starts out following some beautiful rocky streams, before the trail cuts right up the middle of Arch Rock. From there, it's a real climb, but with amazing views almost all the way up, until you're literally hiking in the clouds. So here we are in front of the obligatory place to get your picture taken with the Mount LeConte Lodge and the date and elevation. Cool beans. We explored the LeConte Lodge, checked out the official summit, and then went to the 2 major viewpoints, Cliff Tops and Myrtle Point. Now the weather wasn't really cooperating for views initially, but the good thing was that meant that we had these places almost completely to ourselves. Eventually, some of the clouds began to break up, and we finally got some views that Mount LeConte is so famous for. Well, LeConte has been absolutely great. Finally got some views. I think it's time for us to start the trek back down. We trekked back down, taking in the views from a different angle. In all, the hike was about 12.5 miles. It took us roughly 9 hours, as we were in no hurry and just enjoyed the adventure. Well folks, we just got finished doing a nearly 13-mile hike up to top of Mount LeConte and back. Really great hike and a heck of a first hike for our road trip, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, that was a first day hike right there. And we went all out, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, good experience. Right now we're out cruising on 441, crosses between Gatlinburg and Cherokee, and we're heading towards the Cherokee side. We're gonna go into town for just a little bit. I think we're going to try to find a boondocking site in the National Forest to the south. We drove across the Smokies, from the Tennessee side to the North Carolina side. Took a break in the town of Cherokee before adventuring a bit southwest into the Nantahala National Forest, looking for a site to boondock. Alright, we're just kind of out looking for somewhere to boondock tonight. We are somewhere in the Nantahala National Forest. We just kind of pulled off to the side here. Looking around, supposedly there are some places that we could boondock here. And I guess as long as you can pull off the side of the road, that's good enough, huh? Alright, well, Catfish, it looks like this little spot has a place for a little fire. Not that I'm necessarily wanting to get that involved in a fire or not, but yeah, what a place to spend the night if this is what we choose, huh, buddy?
Yeah, pretty river.
Very pretty. I'm kind of liking this, buddy.
Me too.
This might be a nice little spot for us tonight. Well, buddy, after driving all night last night, sleeping in the car in the trailhead, doing a 13-mile hike up Mount LeConte.
Yep.
I think this is a pretty nice spot we got here for camp, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. It's a little after 9, but yeah, I'm getting pretty tired.
Me too.
Yeah, we had a full day, and you know what? We've got a full day tomorrow again, too.
Yep.
Yep. Now, this is pretty awesome. Our tent out here, right by the river, so listen to that all night. Got the rain fly off the front half of the tent, so we can watch the stars. Yeah, it's gonna be a good night.
Yep.
Well, good morning, folks. It was a beautiful night. Camped out here in the Nantahala National Forest. A great sleep, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this was the sound for the night. You know, I like sleeping with a fan, and this just created perfect noise to sleep to last night. Loved it. After the amazing night camped beside the Little Tennessee River, we headed back into the Smokies, crossing back over to the Tennessee side, heading to an area we have never hiked at before. But we weren't just going for a hike. We were backpacking into the Smoky Mountain backcountry. Hey fellow expeditionists, we're in the Great Smoky Mountains and we're going backpacking.
We're going up the Little River Trail and we're gonna see a ghost town.
Though we've been to the Smokies many times, we had never explored the Elkmont area. We also had never camped in the backcountry in the Smokies, so these were firsts for us here. To add a bit of excitement to the adventure, there were aggressive bear warnings in the area, and also, this is the location of what many call a Smoky Mountain ghost town. Again, this is an abbreviated version of our Elkmont adventure. For the full meal deal, you can find the main video on our YouTube channel. We followed the little river trail all the way to its terminus, 6.8 miles out, just below Klingman's Dome. To say the trail is scenic with all the river views and stream crossings would be an understatement.
And just like that, we have arrived at campsite 30. Well, there are nobody else up here at campsite 30 yet. So we have our choice of campsites to take.
We arrived at backcountry campsite number 30. We set up camp and enjoyed a peaceful evening playing in the creeks, sitting by the campfire and watching the stars. We had found solitude and no bear activity.
Well, folks, it's almost 9 p.m. and we have had a full couple of days. Pretty wore out, huh, Captain?
Yeah, we all.
Yep. But man, what a great couple of days it's been. We get to go to sleep in this forest. Well, good morning, fellow expeditionists. We had a great night camped out here at backcountry site 30 here in the Smokies in the Elkmont region.
We hiked back out and explored the old Appalachian Club area of Elkmont, the Smoky Mountain ghost town. So much history here.
So for those of you who stuck with us through this whole video, hoping to see the ghost town in the Smokies, you stuck around just long enough. Here we are. There's all kinds of ruins that surrounds the main Millionaire's Road there at Elkmont. It's about for everything that's being restored. There's probably another 5 or 10 things out in the woods that have already fallen into disrepair. Well, fellow expeditionists, that pretty much does it for our little backpacking adventure out the Little River Trail, as well as our adventure in the old Appalachian Club Elkmont Ghost Town. It's a pretty cool place. Well, folks, we had a great experience, obviously, hiking there at Elkmont, seeing everything that I had to see. And we're just kind of relaxing now. Decided to go for a cruise.
One of my favorite things when relaxing after a hike is a scenic drive, just taking in the views and enjoying the ride. But for some dumb reason, we decided that scenic drive would be around Cades Cove, with 100 other cars, going so slow we could have walked the loop faster. We did get to see one bear, but I'm still not sure sitting in that traffic was worth it. I don't think we'll ever return to Cades Cove unless it's on foot or on a bike.
You know, I love the history and the wildlife there in Cades Cove. We did get to see one bear and some deer. I'm still not sure if it's really worth the traffic, because it is one of the busiest areas in the park.
After the fiasco of Cades Cove, we did finally get to do a relaxing scenic drive, but this time it was on the newest section of the Foothills Parkway. This was totally worth it. After the Parkway, we stopped in one of the tourist trap towns for dinner, then sought out a place on the Tennessee side to boondock for the night. Unlike out west, there are far fewer places to boondock here in the east, but all we needed was a place to park to catch some Z's, and that's exactly what we did.
Well, good morning, fellow expeditionists. So last night we had us a little dinner in town, and then we just cruised out after dark and found us a trailhead to park at and just slept in our car. It's the quickest and easiest way, so that's what we did, and we're back up and at it this morning, looking to see what new adventures we find. We are kind of beat after the 13-mile adventure on LeConte, and then probably about 14-mile total round trip going up and down Elkmont, so we're just kind of taking it easy for the time being.
We woke up refreshed, but also a bit tired, having hiked a total of 27 miles over the previous 3 days. So today, which we had already decided would be our last day in the area, we decided to do something a little more relaxing. First, we took an early morning ride around the Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail to see the sights and hopefully some wildlife. We actually had a bit of a scare with the one bear we had just seen. After getting out of the car to look down the embankment to try to see it again, it actually had circled back up through the tall weeds and back onto the road, not more than 30 feet down from us. Luckily for us, it was going the other way. We had one little black bear encounter here on the Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail. And believe it or not, it's the first time we've ever seen a bear here driving this area. See them all the time in Cades Cove, but not so often out here, but very much so this time. Roaring Fork Motor Nature Trail delivered on the scenery and the wildlife. But the morning was getting warm, and we had one more thing we wanted to do. It was time to get wet. Well, alright folks, we're going to do one touristy thing while here in the Smokies. We are river rats here in Townsend, getting ready to float down the river. Way back in 2010, when Catfish was only 6 years old, we had tubed the little river here in Townsend, Tennessee, so it just made sense to return. This time, however, river rat tubing had expanded and offered 2 different areas of the river to tube, so of course, we did both. What do you think, Catfish?
Not too bad. In some places we get slowed down a bunch, but sometimes we quicken up.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Oh. I'm backwards. I can't see where I'm going. Oh. Had a friend on our trip. He's a cool caterpillar. We need to save him. What's he up to? Look at that guy. Come on, dude. There you go. Yeah. Well, fellow expeditionists, we liked that first cruise down the river so much, we decided to go to the upstream one and take that one too. So here we go again. And he's free floating. And that's when it happened. Bouncing around the boulders in the creek, I got spun around going backwards, unable to see what was coming, and I hit a rock that completely flipped me off and on top of the rocks. Ouch. Woo. Hello. You okay?
I'm good.
Don't. Jeez. What do you think of that, Catfish? Here we thought this was going to be the easy section, huh?
Yeah.
Alright, well that's pretty much going to do it for our little tubing adventure here at River Rat in Townsend, Tennessee, just outside of the Smoky Mountains National Park. We did both the upper and the lower sections.
Well, the lower section was definitely longer than the upper section. The lower section seemed to have a more variety of things, while the upper section seemed to be had more rapids.
Yeah, they both had their own share of rapids, but the upper had more severe, I guess you would say, bigger rocks to go through, and it caught us off guard because at first it was really a very lazy river, very slow, and then we hit those rocks and it spun me around that one time, which was entertaining until, while I'm backwards, hit a rock and completely flipped me over. And we both sustained some damage from flips out there, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
Right. Check this out. Catfish got a little bit of red on there. But here's what I got. So yeah, when you get flipped over like that on rocks, even just on a tube, it can leave a little bit of damage, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So that's our 4-day adventure in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Every day was amazing in its own way, and we were reminded that even a place we visited so many times before always has something new to experience. Thanks for watching. Be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Until next time, peace out.